hour is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Oh, man. We're going to be starting that satellite show. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Let's get it, folks. Hi, Lloyd. How are you? You good?
Great, Scotty.
Hans, you good?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing, Scotty?
Never better. Never better.
What'd Lloyd say? Did he say he's good, or what's his deal?
No, he said he's good. Said, I wish Hans would put his headphones on.
Well, I got to get these headphones on.
Nah.
I'm so good, buddy. It is a Thursday Ute Preview Show. We've got Frank Dolce in studio. We've got a big show put together. We're going to be talking about the CFP rankings. I leave for Lubbock tomorrow after the Football Friday show with Alima Harrington and Ron McBride. I do radio with two of my best friends. I've got an amazing marriage and a beautiful wife. Like, I'm walking on a cloud right now.
Blessed.
Hashtag
Blessed.
blessed.
Yes. I agree. I agree completely. I told you yesterday, I'm like, these 3 hours, man. 3 hours are great.
They're as fun as they get.
By the way, last night, hung out with our guy Bronco Mendenhall.
Oh, how's things?
Bronco's good.
They need a win.
They need a win.
That would put him one win away from
one
bowl
win away
eligibility.
with 3 to play. But those 3 are going to be tough. At
Very.
Fresno, at UNLV, home against Boise.
One of those has to pop.
Yeah.
One of those has to pop.
But,
And they got to take care of business with Nevada.
yeah.
But how is Bronco?
Bronco's Bronco.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, the guy's just even killed. It's been really fascinating. All right, so, you know, I was doing sports radio just barely here when he got the head coaching job, and you started doing it full time about a year or two later. So we've been around Bronco for 20 some odd years, give or take. And he, being behind the scenes with him, now, granted, I'm going to tell you this. I don't get invited behind the curtain much, but I do get a peek here and there. And it's been really fascinating. And my opinion of Bronco at my age now is significantly different than it was 20 years ago when I first met him.
Yeah.
And it's about being a father. It's about having older teenagers and watching young men that you're trying to raise in your household be good, quality young men. The stuff that I would, and I'll fully admit that I should apologize, the stuff that I kind of scoffed at and made fun of with Bronco.
With religion and school and family.
And all that stuff. Football comes fifth.
Win.
Yeah, like all that stuff that I used to make jokes about, I owe him a major apology because I get it now. I totally get it.
Well, he does still emphasize it. He doesn't do it as vocally as he did when he was at BYU, but he does still emphasize it. I want people to know that he still holds his players to a high level of accountability.
Yeah.
A very high level of accountability. And schools might not have codes, but he certainly holds these kids to high standards. And I sat in, as you know, many hours of meetings in recruiting stuff with my son and listened to him, and I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep. I like this.
Yes.
By the way, I was talking to our mutual friend that you've known forever that's on Bronco staff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yesterday?
Yeah,
Oh,
at
you got
the
to see
coaches
it?
show.
Good.
And we were talking about Rock, and he's like, I'm so fired up to get Rock back here. He said Bronco will be so good for Rock because Bronco will push Rock in ways that he never thought possible.
Never.
And I'm like, well, Rock's already a really self-motivated kid.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, yeah. And he goes, that's awesome. And that's what you need to come into this program. And then you get pushed to another level.
Yeah.
And to a point you never thought was imaginable. And he's like, he's going to flourish here.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to flourish here.
I think he is. I think he's going to get a furnace burning.
Yeah.
And, you know, I try to talk to him about football when we get his little P days on his mission. And he doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, did you see what happened with so-and-so and such? And, he just takes me on these directions. I'm like, son, come on. It's football.
Yeah.
Nah, he's all mission.
I love it.
But
good for him.
Whatever he decides he's going to pay attention to, it's
all
laser
in.
focused.
Well,
yeah, it's all in.
I mean, that just goes to show you his focus. Like,
Yeah.
right, I'm doing
Yeah.
this right now. I'm focused. And then when he gets back on football, it's going to be right on that.
Well, I love it. Love what he's doing up there. And I'm just, fingers are crossed against Nevada.
Yeah. Look, they should beat Nevada. And then I think they'll get that 6th win somewhere. And to see where that team was a year ago and to where they're at now, I know that, last year they were 4-8. This year they might be 6-6. And so that's only a 2-game improvement, but the vibe around the program is
building.
Just night and day different.
Hey, is Olival, is he a senior?
That's a good question. Hold on. Let me
Is
get my
Bronson
chart.
Olival a senior? And I asked that because he's the type of guy that I wish could stay around the program forever.
Junior.
He's a junior?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I know he's gone through so many different injuries and he's had so many different issues, but I look at guys like him. He's the guy that will change the culture.
Yeah.
He's the guy that holds everybody to standard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what you need. So I'm glad that he'll be around another year to help institute Bronco Mendenhall's policies, culture, because you got to find the guys that buy in and it leaks into the locker room. So when the freshmen come in or sophomores transfer or juniors transfer, it's like, oh, you might have gotten away with that there, but here we run until we puke in the off seasons. That's what we do. So get ready for it. And they help you anticipate things. They help you fight through things. And then on the other end, you come through a lot bigger, a lot better.
Yeah.
So another year, we're just going to continue to see this thing light up. Bryson.
That's what bums me out. He's done.
He's done.
Yeah. Whatever lawyer he can hire to sue for another year, I will chip in on the legal fund.
We're watching Paiva just torch it in his 8th year or whatever he is.
I don't know where you can find another year, but go find it.
Diego he's as good as it gets, but how old is he? He's got to be 24?
25, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Got to be.
All right, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is a Thursday, as Hans mentioned. It's a Ute Preview Show, which means we will talk nothing but Utes coming up from 1 to 3. It may be a bye week, but that's all right.
He's almost 25.
Wow.
He'll be 25 in April.
And he wants another year.
Yeah.
Because he's making way more money now than he would in the NFL.
Dude, so I was having a long conversation last night with a guy who's got a son that's NFL bound but has another year of college. And draft evaluations have bumped up now. It's like now, if you're anything lower than a third with what this guy is getting paid, anything lower than a third, you don't do it because the only thing is for sure is a signing bonus, which is, that's maybe $280,000, $320,000. But if you're up 3, 2, and 1, you can really start to bump those signing bonuses. That's the only thing that's guaranteed. Kids now, if you're a 4th round valuation, for me, it used to be 3rd, 4th, or 5th round valuation because you're making $0.
Yeah.
You're living on freaking ramen noodles. So if you get a 4th, 5th, even if you feel like, man, I might be a 6th, I could get a $80,000 bonus, and then I could land a $300,000 year. I'm going to do that now if I can. I had a lot of guys that left early. Eric Bateman was one of them, an offensive tackle that got drafted, I think, 6th or 7th round by the Jets. Now, Eric Bateman would be making $780,000 to $1.2 million. And you stay unless you get the 3rd evaluation. And he's like, man, right now the word it's kind of in between 3rd and 4th until he gets an absolute 3rd. He's coming back.
Yeah, I think if there's any question whatsoever, you go back.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. And if it's who I think it is, then I think the world of his ability to milk that for all it's worth.
Yeah. In college.
College, yeah. Yep.
I do too. And if the college experience is anything like it used to be, if BYU is anything like it was for me, I would stay 100 years if I could.
Yeah.
I was going back and forth with one of my teammates, and I was like, I just, all I want to do is go back to those days. I'm so sick of responsibility of life.
I know. Same.
I just want to worry about, football practice and getting my ankles taped.
Yeah.
I got to get there a little bit early so I get my ankles taped. Like, that was the big thing with me and my buddies. Like, yeah, we can sit here and eat pipeline pizza and watch Three Amigos again, but
that doesn't suck.
oh, dude.
It was Raising Arizona and the $5 pizzas at our place.
Oh, it was Three Amigos and Pipeline Pizza. Their barbecue beef that was so freaking good. And you just sit there and watch it, and you know that you're going to be talking to your coaches. The coaches are like, so you missed econ again, huh? You missed ancient Chinese history again, huh? Like, yeah, I did.
I thought I got a note from the teacher that class was canceled.
Would you say that I have a plethora of classes that I should be going to?
I don't even know what that word means.
That would not even entertain Lavelle back in the day. He just looked at me like, this guy. Well, you are just a problem child, man.
I bet Ramage would be like, oh, yeah, I get it.
No, the Ram Charger would not be like, oh, I get it.
Lavelle goes, you've missed a plethora of classes.
The amount of times Ram Charger dropped his head down in his hand, like, oh. Geez.
Was he the pea or a heart the size of a pea?
No, that was Ken Schmidt.
Oh, that was Schmidt. That's right.
Yeah, rest his soul.
Yeah.
And rest Ram Charger's soul. My coaches are all gone, man.
Oh, man.
Roger French, Ram Charger, Ken Schmidt, Lavelle. It's the BYU legends are going to the other side.
Yeah. But I bet they're barking at people. Roger French is over there somewhere in heaven calling somebody fat.
Promise you. Taking somebody off the fullback list and putting them as a guard. Probably.
My $375 just
gone.
All right, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Let's get to it. Starting lineup right now.
This is Hans and Scotty G.
Let's go.
The lineup is set, and it's time to kick off the show with the biggest topic of the day. This is the starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
No, haven't talked about it before and probably won't talk about it again anyway. So we just focus on one thing, and that's being at the right mindset and making sure that we avoid all distractions before we get to that game. The focus this entire week is going into that game against Texas Tech in Lubbock.
There you go. Kalani Sitake saying exactly what you would expect Kalani Sitake to say and everything that he should say about college football ratings. BYU checking in at number 7. We talked a lot about that yesterday throughout the show, but also checking in at number 13, Hans, University of Utah.
Yeah, the University of Utah is in great position, and we'll jump into this here in just a second, but I want to make this point based off of Kalani Sitake's comments right there. You know, I'm sitting down getting ready for the show today, and typically you got to dig for anything BYU, dig for anything Utah. This morning, USA Today released an inside piece of the BYU locker room and Kalani Sitake's secret to success. Only 3 teams over the last 2 years only have 2 losses, blah, 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 this whole thing. And it's a whole big write-up. I'm a slow reader, so it nearly took me an hour to read. It might only have been 2 pages, but forever. And then, I get done with that, and I'm like, okay, let's see what else is out there. Oh, Shehan Jaraja. What does he write for Rivals or
CBS?
CBS Sports, one of my favorite. And
Shehan's almost an honorary Utahn right now.
Oh, I know. He's hitched his wagon because he knows it's the clicks. People love it. Utah, they feast on it. And it was a whole Bear Bachmeier piece, and his opening line was like, is that good or not? It was like Bear Bachmeier raised in a quote-unquote crazy environment, and it's like you go through and read it, and it's a wild environment. He grew up in a different world, but you look at what Bear Bachmeier is, and he's just incredible. So I read through this whole piece. Everybody has their eyes on the 7-8 matchup, and I'm just telling you, it's really hard as a player to not drink your Kool-Aid.
Yeah, yep.
If you're Bear Bachmeier and you're like, oh, there's a story about me in CBS Sports, and it's like, Bear has done everything, and he's a giant among men, and he's just coming of age, and he's single-handedly beat the University of Utah. Now, I'm exaggerating.
No.
But when you read the self-Kool-Aid, these are the things you hear, and you're like, yeah, you're darn right. You start to bow up the chest a little bit, you're inflated, and you don't have the same chip on your shoulder. You start to feel like, well, I've made it. I've arrived. I know as a true freshman, but look, the nation knows my name because I had a really good run against the University of Utah. Screw that. guess what? If it stops tomorrow or Saturday, if it stops tomorrow, everybody stops caring. If things fall apart on Saturday, everybody stops caring.
Hey,
and what I'd say to Bear is, hey, Bear, don't look any further than your brother Hank. Look at Hank.
Oh, it turned fast on Hank.
Look at Hank.
Yep, great point.
Look at what the colleges did to Hank. And remember it. And let that be the chip on your shoulder. Like, everybody loves you right now. You lose to Texas Tech and you have a turnover or two and you're -1 and you know, things just didn't go your way. All of a sudden, it's like, see, told you he's a true freshman. See, told you BYU was overranked. See, that's why everybody kept you out of the top 25 preseason. See, that's why nobody wanted to bump you up the top 25 during the AP. See, this is why we... And all of a sudden, you become the reason that nobody respected BYU. And then everybody starts to turn on you. All of a sudden, it's not so cute that you're playing guitars in old folks' homes.
Why aren't you at practice? Why aren't you watching film?
All of a sudden, it becomes not so cute that you write music. It's like, just understand, you're only as good as the game ahead of you. Don't read your own clippings. And I say that because I was there. I did it. I was the king beep coming out of high school my senior year. #1 recruit out of Idaho. Everybody wanted me. And if I'd have lowered my head and worked as hard as I could, I probably would have been a lot better football player. Instead, I was like, man, everybody loves the Hants. Everybody I'm everybody's friend. Everybody wants me. And it just takes the edge off of you. And I wish I didn't have that edge removed from me. And I just hope Bear finds a way to keep the edge. Every day, waking up with the issue. Every day, waking up with people doubting me. Yeah, I know I'm number 7. And yeah, I know Shehan just wrote a really nice big national piece on me. And yeah, I know ESPN Game Day loves to play my highlights. But that means nothing. Because if it stops against Texas Tech, and I have a slip up against TCU, and I miss the Big 12 championship, and I miss the CFP, and I end up in a lower tier bowl, nobody cares.
Nope. No, sir.
So I'm just begging the whole BYU football team, shut out Hans and Scotty. Shut us out.
Yeah.
Shut out Shehan. Shut out USA Today.
Everybody else listen, but you guys, take a break. It's all
Players, get away from it and understand it is fun and games and excitement and attention. And hey, by the way, when you turn off the radio, Scotty and I are still going to love you up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the people that we intend to hear it will hear it. And you will continue to think you're doubted, and you'll continue to play outside of the box. Because if you're going talent for talent, if you're just going pure talent for talent, Texas Tech has better talent. They've got the better talent. They've got the experienced quarterback. They've got the healthy running backs. They've got the best D-end in the country. They've got 2 of the best corners in the country. They've got the best linebacker in the country. I was just putting together all my boards, getting ready for the call on Saturday. Scotty, their left tackle is 6'8", 335 pounds, and he's a senior. He's a massive man, and he can move his feet. Their right tackle is 6'8", 305 pounds. He's a redshirt freshman, and he can move. These are gigantic human beings on the bookends that keep Morton feeling like I got plenty of time back here. Those are really good players. So what do? Do you shrink in the box? If you're Vilpolha, do you say, well, I'm still young, and at least I can blame my ineffectiveness on being young? If you're Keanu Tanavasa, are you able to just say, well, I did my job because I held up the guard, and that was my job? Or do you take it and put it up on yourself and say, wait a second, wait. It's the biggest game in the country with all eyeballs on me. It's time for me to make my money. It's money time. And if you're Keanu Tanavasa, or if you're Vilpolha, or if you're Logan Latui, and you're this defensive front going against this menacing offensive crunch down team, now you can make your money. I could be up in the booth watching them get penetration, get TFLs, get pressures, and be like, There it is, Logan Latui. Another big pressure in a big-time moment. He hits the inside spin move on a 6'8", 335-pound senior. That's what BYU football is all about. That's what you need to hear. Like, these guys have to find energy inside themselves. Because it is. It's the biggest game in the nation.
Yep. All eyes on this one. There's no excuses why anybody that's anybody in college football won't be watching this game.
Yeah.
There's no late night. It's on a network. It's on ABC, correct?
Yep.
It's on, so you've got network access. You got middle of the day. It's at high noon Eastern time. Everybody will be watching this game.
Man, everybody's going to be watching. And I was on with the BYU Sports Nation guys this morning, and they asked me about the number one matchup. The number one matchup, I told you this yesterday, it's your two offensive tackles versus their two DNs. Best run-stopping front in the country. Best pass rushers in the country. And it's going to come down to how well can we maneuver? How well can we take care of these guys? I know that it's not an individual one-on-one, and I talked about that as well, attaching Kean Need or attaching Carson Ryan or however you want to move it, H-back motions that's chip before route, those kinds of things. That's the matchup. If those guys torch your true freshman quarterback, hit him time and time again, if they get back and disrupt the mesh point, where you're 4 yards back trying to put that ball in L.J. Martin's stomach, if there's confusion and push and the true freshman is having to make a pull or give decision with confusion in front of him, you're going to crap the bed.
Yep. It's that simple.
Offensive front, and I know they got it in them. I know they do. Bruce Mitchell backs down to nobody. Nobody. I know they've got it in them. It's just, Kalani was not just trying to blow smoke or generate headlines when he said, this is the best defensive front we'll face. It's the best defensive front they're going to face. And you know how much respect I've got for Utah's defensive front. And John Henry Daly, guess what? He's number 2 in the country. Guess who he's behind? David Bailey.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech defensive end by either a sack and a half or 2 sacks.
Yeah.
Like, this is the matchup. How well did you prepare? How healthy are you? And how ready are you for a fight? Because it's going to be the fight of your life.
Yeah.
And you're either going to walk out of there saying, man, I wish I would have had another shot at that. You're going to walk out of there thinking, oh, man, if I would have only sat down on that inside move when it was 4th and 6 and we had to get the first because we were on a scoring drive to win. If I'd have just sat on that inside move instead of getting beat by it, you don't want the what-ifs. Prepare for everything. Watch enough film that you know what type of toilet paper Bailey uses, that you know what type of first step movement Ramel Height is the other defensive end. You know what type of toilet paper Ramel uses. Because if you know those things, then you won't have to say, man, I wish, or man, I should have. You don't want to walk out of that game like feeling like all the pressure of the world's on you. And, we always say it never happens with one position and one play. Well, yeah, it can.
It can, yeah. I mean, we saw a Super Bowl a couple of years ago where Aaron Donald single-handedly won a Super Bowl.
Right. And I don't want to be in the postgame saying, well, Greg, we can't blame that all on offensive tackle A not sitting on a spin move. They shouldn't have had a 10-point deficit in the second quarter.
They shouldn't have been in that position.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to be able to say, Greg, Andrew Gentry sat on the spin. He drove him into the interior. That opened up the window for Bear Bachmeier to step into, to deliver to Parker Kingston, and Kingston find a little bit of wiggle room on the 4th down, and it gets him in scoring position to grab the lead. Like, it's all these stupid little details of football that I'm Scotty, I stay up at night. You know that. These things weigh so damn heavy on me. This game just got me. It's got me stirred up.
By the way, those two guys seem like single-ply, really rough toilet paper that'll chafe you.
Oh no! They're grabbing bark off of an oak tree.
Yeah, those are guys that you're taking a layer of skin.
Yeah,
and it makes them angry, and then they take it out.
Honestly, they may be 2 non-wipers. They might just be going raw. I don't know. Well, I was a non-wiper.
Oh, stop it.
So depending on how much money I had for the month. In college?
You kifed a roll or two from the Kimball Towers.
During my stays?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Hans and Scotty, that's the only building I know. So that's.
The Kimball Towers?
Yeah.
I think that's where the honor code was.
I know. That's why. You've told me that. That's why. That's only why I know the only building there.
I don't know if it's there anymore.
Yeah.
I think they moved it.
Hans and Scotty, 12:30. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. The Aggies return home to Logan for a battle against the Nevada Wolfpack. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
So, Scotty, this CFP top 25, and the way it rolled out, it really does set up for two Big 12 teams to be in the college football playoffs.
Yep.
So that's really important. It's something that everybody needs to take a look at. You and I have been running all the different scenarios of if BYU to win out and Utah were to win out. There are a lot of scenarios where BYU and Utah can potentially meet in the Big 12 championship game. A lot of scenarios. Okay, now I want to set up a different angle and a different scenario, and I want to get your thoughts here because when this CFP came out, I studied it, and then we didn't get a chance to get into this conversation. All right, so what if this happens? Let's say BYU splits Cincinnati and Texas Tech. BYU matches up with Texas Tech in a rematch in the Big 12 championship because that's very possible. If BYU were to go 3-1 in the remainder, and Texas Tech beats BYU, wins out, or vice versa, then BYU and Texas Tech rematch. Let's say Utah runs the table from here on out. So they finish out the season coming off this bye week.
Which is very doable,
Which is very doable. Let's say they finish at 3-0 at Baylor, Kansas State at home, at Kansas. Very, very doable. Very doable. Baylor's really good, but they've got some gaps. And I called a game at Baylor. Great environment. It's some of the best fans you'll be around. Some of the most inviting place it's not the gauntlet. It's like, hey, Chippy and JoJo, everybody's happy, high-fiving, and everything's bigger in Texas kind of thing. Like I would love as a player to go there and get a win. So I'm not afraid of Baylor, and I'm not overly afraid of Kansas, although the stadium redo might have changed things, but I did call a game at Kansas 2 years ago. And so I look at the schedule, I'm like, it's very possible to go 3-0 to finish and to finish the season 10-2. Okay. BYU and Texas Tech in a rematch. Utah finishes 10-2. They're sitting 13. If they beat Baylor at Baylor, if they beat Kansas State at home and beat Kansas on the road, they sit at 13. How high can they get? If they don't make the Big 12 championship, how high can they get? And with the Big 12 championship game loser, that would then have two losses, fall below Utah as a CFP.
Certainly could. This is the case, and it's a rare situation, but this has happened. There's precedence of this. SEC, it's happened quite a bit, actually, where you're actually penalized to a certain extent by making the conference championship game.
And losing. Yep.
And so there's precedence where this has happened before, where there's a team that doesn't make the in fact, Alabama's done it a bunch of times where they don't make the championship game because of a week 4, week 5 loss, but yet they are just steamrolling, and everybody realizes, hey, they're playing better than this team here that made the conference championship game. And when they lose, they're like, we're putting that team in, and these guys can go to the, Outback Bowl or wherever. And so, yeah, that is a very distinct possibility because this committee is being told, hey, you look at the complete body of work, but you also look at who's playing the best football right now. And if Texas Tech were to lose a game or two, or BYU were to lose a game or two, even though they would have the head-to-head win over Utah, it's not out of the realm of possibility for Utah, especially if they keep putting up these scores.
That's the
that they've
difference.
done the last 2 weeks. The College Football Playoff Committee would be like, eesh, these guys are hot, man. And if we want the best teams playing the best football right now, we can't ignore them.
Yeah. I want to paint the picture that it is very, very possible that BYU and Utah could be in the CFP. That the way they've put together their season, the start they've had. Now, we're through week 10, and both have now used up their bye weeks, and both have a difficult finish. Utah slightly less than BYU, but there are possibilities that both BYU and Utah could get to the CFP. Now, what's difficult is getting to the Big 12 championship game, playing that Big 12 championship against Texas Tech, more likely than not, unless it's BYU and Utah. I think the two most likely scenarios are either BYU and Texas Tech or BYU and Utah.
Agreed. Yep.
Because this game on Saturday will completely dictate that. If BYU beats Texas Tech, understand, if Utah finishes the way they should finish, Utah will be in over Texas Tech, even though Texas Tech has the head-to-head.
Yep.
Are people aware of that?
No, but I think it. I mean, we've been screaming it from the mountaintops, so hopefully it's starting to settle in.
Now that does include it. It has to be a group of 2 loss.
Yes.
If Texas Tech and Utah are the only 2 loss,
nope.
Then it's the head-to-head, right?
Yeah, correct.
So it's got to be a group, and pretty much every design has at least 3 2-loss teams.
And this is why BYU is so important to the future of the University of Utah, because as a Ute fan, you need BYU to beat Texas Tech, and you need BYU to run the table after that.
Right, or you need BYU to lose the next 4,
Yeah.
or lose
Yeah.
3 of the next 4.
Yeah, you either. And if BYU loses to Texas Tech, then you go back to hating BYU and rooting against them in every situation because you need them to lose.
2 more.
2 more. But if they beat Texas Tech, you as a Utah fan need to be rise and shout, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, now they got to run it.
Yeah.
Which if they beat Texas Tech, running it, TCU will be difficult, very difficult. That road game to Cincinnati, it's going to be tough. And then UCF at home. But all of them are winnable for BYU.
Yep.
If they beat Texas Tech, I don't. Again, I'm having to pause myself out, and anybody that's a part of that BYU football program, get out of here.
You're not welcome.
Get out of here, because you don't need any of this crap in your head. If they beat Texas Tech, Scotty, it's like the sky's the limit.
Yes.
Texas Tech, people need to understand, they spent the most money on NIL in the offseason. They brought in 20 bodies that have completely turned the tides. They fired both coordinators. They brought in a new D coordinator and a new offensive coordinator. They went from the 123rd defense to the number 3 defense based off of the personnel they brought in and the coordinator that they hired. They've made these crazy changes. Texas Tech is a legit team. Watching what they did to Utah was astounding, shocking, horrifying at times. It really was. For me, it was horrifying because what they did to Utah's offense, it should be illegal.
Well, the thing that was horrifying for me is that Texas Tech did to Utah what Utah's done to so many teams.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
You just play bully ball. And I've never seen Utah. We've seen Utah take losses. Very rarely do you see Utah get bullied. And they were bullied.
And people can try to explain it away to me as, well, Devon Dampier wasn't healthy. I'm not. Okay, but you still gave up 34 points. Well, yeah, but Devon Dampier wasn't healthy and we couldn't sustain drives. It allowed Texas. Well, they lost their quarterback.
Yeah, and that dude came in and started slinging missiles.
Well, yeah, but Devon Dampier. Okay, stop. It's a really good Texas Tech team. And if BYU loses 3 and they're out of the Big 12 championship and Utah rematches with Texas Tech, they're going to have to redesign a lot of things because it was not right what Texas Tech did to them. Now, we talk a lot about Texas Tech they're not perfect. Texas Tech they stumbled against Arizona State. Well, what did Arizona State do to them? Well, Arizona State threw for 320 yards. They only ran for 75, but they threw for 320 yards. And they held Texas Tech to 22 points. 109 yards passing, and it was Will Hammond, the backup quarterback. that came in against Utah. They held Will Hammond to 167 yards, and only 109 yards rushing. So Cameron Dickey, very good running back. Cameron Dickey, I think he's averaging, what is he averaging? Close to 80, 85 yards a game, I think. He only had 40 yards against that Arizona State defense. And it's not like Arizona State's defense is you can't replicate it.
No.
You can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a blueprint.
There is a blueprint.
And Arizona State was the blueprint.
Yeah. Now it'll be interesting to see if BYU can replicate that blueprint.
By the way, Raleek Brown had 70 yards. And 70 yards is kind of the standard for LJ Martin. Now, you've got to have about 150, 160 rushing yards. But if you can get 70 out of LJ and you can get 40 out of Bear. Now all I need is 20, 30 from a couple of fly sweeps, a couple of end rounds, a Parker Kingston, a Cody Hagan, or some usage that we're not overly familiar with to go get you another 30 or 40, and there you are. You're at that 150, 160 mark.
Yep. Hans and Scotty, what you may have missed coming up next. Jazz in action last night. We'll give you an update on that. And then Frank Dolce will stop by for your Ute Preview Show beginning at 1:05 right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It doesn't get much bigger than this. BYU and Texas Tech, your home for the best coverage of Cougar football, is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Woo!
I know you're not a big fan of the Eagles, but you got to love this song.
Oh, yeah, man. Amazing harmony.
Seven Bridges Road, the Eagles, on your Thursday right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. What you may have missed, well, the Jazz had plenty of opportunities, but a bad third quarter pretty much does them in. They lose to Detroit 114-103. Jazz did everything they could to climb back into that game, but just couldn't get over the hump as the Jazz, after that impressive win against Boston, give one away on the road to Detroit. Leading the way for the Utah Jazz. When you look at scoring in this game, Lauri Markkanen had 25. But how about Svi pumping in 28? And frankly, should have been more involved, honestly, in the offense.
He was good.
10 of 16, 6 of 11 from 3. You got to feed that man the ball.
Yeah. Got a lot of youth that are learning a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping Will Hardy can keep his composure. I'm hoping that these guys can learn the lessons that are needed and continue to grow, because that's all you can expect from them right now. Such a young group.
Yeah. By the way, I'm going to surprise you with a little sound here, because I like it when you hear things for the first time.
Okay.
And I get your initial reaction on this. And this is actually kind of in line with something we talked about earlier in terms of Bear Bachmeier. You want to just get all of the noise away from you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do hear noise, only hear the negative, so you have that edge, so you have that anger. Well, last night, former Jazz man Donovan Mitchell had 45 points. He was 6 of 11 from 3. He also had, 8 rebounds and 8 assists. One of his best nights as a pro. Well, why is that? Well, he was playing NBA 2K, and some kids started talking trash to him.
I wouldn't put the game that I had based on the court. This kid pissed me off today. I was playing 2K. I've been playing 2K for like 2 hours, and I told him too. I was like, just wait. And he just called me washed up. He called me a bunch of things, but I love it. You know what I mean? He said he ain't seen a highlight from me in a minute, and I just told him, all right, we'll see. He said, tell me to go to sleep. Like he was going in. So this game was for that kid or grown man, whoever that was. So I appreciate you. I told him I'd give him a shout out too. So that's what tonight was. I wouldn't.
Wow.
So Donovan Mitchell is playing some rando on NBA 2K, and this guy comes in and starts talking smack. He might have been a 12-year-old boy in Japan. He may have been a 52-year-old woman in Springfield, Missouri. You don't know. and they start talking trash. And, I mean, first off, the huevos on whoever that is, you're up against an NBA player, and you start running your mouth about how they're washed, and I haven't seen a highlight from you in a while. And Donovan Mitchell's like, all right, I'll show you later tonight. That's where he got his motivation for the game.
That's wacky.
Somebody from NBA 2K.
Okay, so he never gave the outcome of the NBA 2K
Oh,
game.
that's true, yeah.
Do you think he won it or lost it? Probably lost it.
Probably did lose it.
Probably
for somebody
lost
to come
it
in and run and smack like that, yeah.
while taking the shots, and walked away from his video game with a loss and a bunch of negativity, and was like, well, at least I can go do it on the court. I think it's wacky that these guys take these video games so seriously. It's wacky. But I'll tell you, me and my brother sit down to a little NCAA football, and, you know, there's always some trash talking and fun back and forth. And then if I lose, I take it personal. It ruins my night.
You throw the controller against the wall.
Yeah. If I win, then I'm walking pretty happy.
Have you guys played the new NHL? Have you guys played NHL like at all?
No, I don't think I've ever played an NHL game.
It's pretty fun.
Is it?
Yeah, it actually is. It's very intense.
So you just control the guy that's got the puck at the
And
time?
you pass it. Yeah, you pass it to the next guy, and the other guys are moving, obviously. But it's fun.
Speaking of the NHL, the Utah Mammoth lose last night to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it sucked because the Mammoth started out the scoring, looking good all through the second. Yeah. Toronto was able to tie it up in the second, and you go into the third period tied up, and Toronto just lets loose on a 3-score period, and Utah just couldn't keep pace. But the Mammoth ended up losing, and I sent you guys – Toronto fans are miserable, man.
Yeah, they're a miserable bunch.
I sent you guys a post from, a social media post from somebody, and all the negative comments. Were those all Maple Leaf fans?
Yes.
In the comments?
Yes, those were all Maple Leaf fans.
They're horrendous.
It was pretty nasty. I was like, wow, that's
holy cow.
pretty nasty for the 13th game of the season.
It was essentially just a hometown post of, I think it was it Paterka? I think it might have been a Paterka post. It might have been a Dylan Gunther post. Anyways, just a...
No, it was Sergei.
Oh, was
Sergei
it? Okay.
Selly.
All right. Oh, that's right. Mikhail Sergachev and his score celebration. And people were just torching him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked a lot about there's a lot of free agents that come and go out of Toronto that they're like, this is my home team. This is my home fans. I don't want any part of this. And it's actually hurt them sometimes in holding on to people because some of these players get treated so poorly.
Well, I know a couple of those guys. I'd take Austin Matthews tomorrow.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'd take Nylander tomorrow. They got some good players.
Yep. All right, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Frank Dolce's rolling around here somewhere. It is time for your Ute Preview Show. We will kick it off next right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's a much-needed bye week for the Utes as they get set for the final stretch of the 25 season. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Second down and 15. Dampier on the roll-off. There's a strike. Inside the 10. Breaking free. Ryan Davis. Touchdown, Utah. In as the Wildcat quarterback. He fakes it to Dampier, the quarterback. And keeping it is Parker. Breaking the tackle. Parker into the end zone. Touchdown, Utah. Carvalho, the deep man. Just had a 23-yard punt return earlier. And here he goes again. Carvalho. Past midfield, kicker to beat. He beat him. Inside the 10. Dives for the end zone. Touchdown.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, but more importantly, Frank Dolce.
It's Mr. Dolce.
How are you?
I think we had a rough lead into this.
Yeah, we
segment.
did.
Yeah.
It's Mr. Dolce dressed like Mr. Rogers. That's a Mr. Rogers sweater.
No, it's not. This is not a button-down.
It's a Cosby sweater.
This is a quarter zip.
Do you want to hear some stupid info about Mr. Rogers and his sweaters? Did you know Did you know, Scott?
Yeah, probably not.
Did you know, Frank, that he introduced those sweaters because his mom knitted every one of those, and she passed, and he kept those sweaters and would put them on for every show to thank his mother that had passed away. That's a true story.
This could be like the origin story of Psycho. You remember the movie Psycho?
Oh, yeah. Mom had a big part of that.
I do not remember the movie Psycho. I don't know if I've watched the movie Psycho.
You should watch it.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you grow up in another country? What's wrong with you?
I
you
don't know.
American?
I did watch
Psycho.
Birds. Same writer. Is that
Yeah, well, it's Hitchcock. Yeah.
Birds?
Same
Is it the same writer? Same
Director.
Same director?
Same guy.
Is it the same guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Alfred
Well,
Hitchcock.
I'll go watch it for you. So the mom she raised a weirdo?
Yeah, I think you could say that.
Yeah.
I mean, Jason, his mom messed him up
Jason.
all too.
Yeah.
A lot of Freudian mom issues out there.
But
Oedipus.
stupid trivia for Fred Rogers.
Well, if Fred Rogers' mom would have gone a different direction, you would have seen Fred Rogers, the serial killer.
Did you? I remember watching Mr. Rogers. Did you watch?
Oh,
Mr.
hell
Rogers?
yes. Him feeding his fish.
I know, but even
Him
back
going
then,
to the
did you?
Never Land.
How did you feel about Mr. Rogers? I didn't. It wasn't one of my favorites.
No,
I can tell you that.
I didn't like it at all. And plus, those puppets scared me to death
what
too.
were that?
Lady
what was
Elaine
that
scared
thing?
you?
And then the train thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about Mr. Rogers.
Well,
I think I don't feel good about it. I think that's
I
what
was
would
like
say.
when the delivery guys showed up because then they'd play like a little video that had some animation on it. That was exciting.
The best was when Eddie Murphy did it.
Oh, Mr. Robinson's neighborhood.
Robinson's neighborhood. This is how we answer the door in my neighborhood.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Frank,
those
you
are,
good?
Those are classic.
You enjoying your bye week, Frank?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, why not?
Was this the right time for Utah?
No, Utah's gone back to back pretty good weeks. Like
You want to keep it rolling.
This is not a good week for a bye week. You want to keep the momentum going. No doubt. So, I mean, there's benefits to it, but I think it's hard. I just think it's hard taking off a week, and there's been a lot of talk about bye weeks for teams heading into the playoffs, and how that has not always worked out so well for the team that should be favored. That bye week can be damaging, rather than having a week where you're tested again. In fact, I was listening to a podcast this morning about resilience and Hercules. And the guy said you have to build your body inside and out so it's hard to kill. And the way you do that is you put stress on your body and increasing amounts, the ability to manage increasing amounts of stress. That's how you build your body so that it's hard to kill inside and out. And I think that's what happens on a weekly basis. Like you're putting your system under stress, and when you learn to manage stress, then you're improving.
More capable.
Yeah. That seems to make sense, right?
I mean, we talk about from a physical standpoint, lifting weights, running, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Sitting in cold tubs.
Cold tubs, yeah, for sure. But then, are you putting yourself mentally in stressful situations or where you get pushed that way?
Yeah, absolutely. That's building it inside and out.
Yeah.
So you put yourself in mentally difficult situations, reacting
much
to
like taking
something that's
your criticism and your jokes about us, put us in really stressful situations.
I feel like I don't say it.
You're building us up.
I don't say it often, but I feel like I'm doing a service to both of you when I look at you with a critical eye
And speak truth.
and speak the truth.
Speak truth into existence.
It's not always comfortable to do that.
No, it's not comfortable at all.
But I feel like for you two and for your evolution, it's really meaningful. And don't thank me. I don't need any sort of recognition for the service that I provide. Okay?
Just so everybody,
let's just make that clear.
Just so everybody's aware, part of my 50-pound weight loss was due to Frank. After the show concludes, we're walking out of the building and Frank goes, "What size bra do you wear?" Straight to me. Straight up.
I did not say that. I said...
Frank!
I did not say
Frank Jr. Dolce.
I did not say that.
Not on air.
What did you say?
I said Manzier. What size is your Manzier?
Hey, look, when you drop a lot of LBs, and my fear is now putting him back on, not because of health, not because of any. It's like if Frank sees me put weight back on, he'll never let me live it.
You will know.
Yeah.
He will alert you to it.
Have you ever seen anyone who's done that, who's gone through like a tremendous weight loss and then, and maybe even celebrated it, and then it went the wrong way? Yeah. Yeah.
That's why you can't.
The rebound.
That's why that's the hardest part, honestly.
Yeah.
Many.
Yeah, it's a hard. I mean, Scotty, you're exactly
right.
Yes. It's a hard thing to do that. Like to be so super dedicated, and you know about the effort and the challenge and all of things. You have to completely change your habits and everything else. And then that is a big. By the way, does that cause you anxiety? I mean, does that?
I lose sleep over it.
Yeah.
Like my nightmares are putting it back on.
Rebound gains.
Like I have dreams about it all the time.
Yeah.
Because the hell you went through to get out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All the time.
Well, you're in a great spot. Right
Frank,
you.
I appreciate that.
I felt like the CFP showed great respect to the University of Utah on their initial rankings. No? I think so.
Out of the box?
Yeah. Number 13.
Oh, yeah.
That's a show of, that's a sign of respect on a 2-loss Big 12 team, is it not?
Oh, it has to be.
I think so, but look at the wins versus the losses. Like Utah wins, those are pretty dominant
whoopings.
Efforts. Yeah.
And the numbers are high.
And the numbers are really good. And then the losses, I think you could say Utah threw out 2 stinkers. I would say that. They threw out 2 stinkers, especially against Texas Tech. Winnable game against, it was winnable against Texas Tech until the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Winnable game against BYU. I still think if you threw Utah and BYU out there together, I would probably give the nod to Utah. Like, I think Utah would win that game. But I also think that could go back and forth, if you had a 10-game series or something like that.
I think it's respect towards Utah, but also some surprising respect for the Big 12. Because they're looking at a Utah team like, okay, your 2 losses were in conference. We think your conference is so good that we're going to keep you up there because not only are you a good team, but the teams you lost to were conference teams that we like as well. So we're not going to penalize you that much for 2 losses.
Mm-hmm. I think that Utah, I think they were treated well.
Think about this. The first ACC team that checks in is number 14 behind all 3 Big 12 teams. Now, there's 5 ACC teams that show up in the first rankings, but their highest ranked ACC team is behind a 2-loss Utah team, and that's an 8-1 Virginia team that they're not buying. They're not buying the ACC. They're not buying Virginia. Well, they are buying the Big 12. And I do believe that this is positioning, if everybody finishes out the way they're supposed to finish out, this is positioning that you're going to have 2 Big 12 teams in the CFP, in the college football playoffs. And I think that, Frank, when I say showing a sign of respect to Utah as a 7-2 team with losses to Texas Tech and BYU, I think it's a big show of respect because it puts them solidly in position to make the college football playoffs without even making the Big 12 championship game.
I know. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? I agree with you. I'm looking over that list right now as well. Do you think anyone's overrated in this? I mean, are you making the point that Utah's overrated?
No.
In this?
No, not at all.
Or just a generous ranking? I
Not
don't
at
know.
all.
I don't know about Virginia. I mean, look, Virginia comes in at 14. USC comes in at 19. Virginia doesn't beat USC. There's no, does Virginia beat USC?
No.
Does Virginia beat
I don't even think they
Georgia? Does Virginia beat Michigan?
And I think that's
they beat Vanderbilt.
And they're saying,
Did they beat? Yeah.
and they're saying we don't think they can beat Utah either.
Wow. Yeah.
Which honestly, if you put those 2 teams together, I think Utah's probably neutral site, probably a 4.5, 5.5 point favorite.
Virginia's only decent win is against Florida State, and we saw Florida State go in the tank. They lost 3 after that. So they lost to Virginia, and then they ended up losing to Miami, Pitt, and Stanford before getting off the losing streak to Wake Forest a week ago. So that's not even a good win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other loss that they got was NC State. They lost to NC State second week. That's Virginia. It's just not a conference. It's just not a powerful conference right now. The Big 12 deserves two teams in the college football playoffs.
Look, Clemson came out of the ACC, and Florida State's come out of the ACC with the old college football playoff because they were so good. They didn't hold the conference against them. But that was a sign that they respected the team, not the conference. It had nothing to do with the ACC. It was just that they thought that Clemson was great, and so that's why they kept getting elevated. Now that there isn't a great team, they're like, your conference is trash. And so your best team in the conference, we're going to put at 14th. However, the Big 12, we think your conference is really good. And so we're going to put your third team ahead of the first team in the ACC. It was a giant middle finger to the ACC.
I agree. I very much agree. Now, there was only 3 Big 12 ranked teams. I do think you could probably find a fourth and replace one of these ACC teams in that ranking. Like Pitt checks in at number 24 at 7-2 in the ACC. I would have taken a Houston or a Cincinnati, and put them in that 24 mark. If that's the point that I'm trying to make, because they did drop 5 ACC teams in there and only 3 Big 12 teams.
That is also interesting.
Yeah.
So the Big 12 rankings are good, but the depth is lacking. And then you put 5 on the lower side with ACC teams.
Yeah.
That is also interesting.
Something else that stood out to me in the CFP initial 25. There is not a single group of 5 team ranked in the college football playoff initial rankings. Now, what they did is they took Memphis out of the American as the potential conference champion and put them as the 12th ranked team in the CFP, because we know that one group of 5 champion gets the CFP bid, automatic.
Right.
So they just took Memphis and they put them in there at number 12. But there's not a single ranked group of 5 team in the initial 25. Last year, 2024, finished with Boise State at 8, Army at 21, UNLV at 23, and Memphis at 24. I don't know what the initial rankings were, but I know that Boise State was high in the initial CFP rankings. So the point I'm trying to make is I kind of feel like we're real close to seeing that automatic bid to a G5 go away. What these rankings said to me was, hey, we're seeing it. Anybody who's good enough is leaving to the group of 4 with these NIL invites and the free transfer portal exchanges. And our group of 5 teams are being depleted, so how much room and wiggle do we give them? Even in a 16-team format that we go to next year?
Well, it's not settled yet. Remember, we talked to that guy at the Mountain West Media Day, and we said, hey, we're going to 16. He's like, no. They haven't settled on that yet.
So we're still at 12 next year?
We're still, as of right now, yeah.
Jeez Louise. Well, that's going to be bad. If they stay at 12, they're going to pinch the group of 5 out.
I think the only thing that would keep the group of 5 in, it's not because there's any respect towards any group of 5. It's the worry about lawsuits of pinching them out of the money.
Might be.
And so that's the only thing that's saving the G5s.
That, or, I throw Memphis in at number 12 against number 5 Georgia.
It's essentially a first-round bye.
In a first-round game. Well, Memphis, you better beat Georgia. Somebody, one of you group of 5s better do something big.
I mean, when Boise got shell-shocked in that first-round game, when they got a first-round bye, and it's like, oh, okay, you didn't deserve that.
In the initial college football playoff bracket, they've got Texas Tech and BYU. So, Frank, let me ask you.
Yes.
What's more likely? Let's just say that BYU is a one-loss team and Texas Tech is a one-loss team. They rematch in the Big 12 championship. Utah wins the next 3, which includes Baylor on the road, Kansas State at home, and Kansas on the road. They win the next 3. Do all 3 get in? The 2 Big 12 championship game participants and Utah, who by the time they win those 3 is going to be in the top 10. Or does the loser of the Big 12 championship game get bumped and
below Utah? It would be really difficult because you got that. You have to factor the head-to-head. Like,
yeah, but
how do you bump that?
It's happened.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
It's happened.
It's whether or not your committee looks at it and says, okay, that happened back in week 5 or 6, but week 12, we think these teams are on a different trajectory and they're playing better.
If that occurs, let's just say hypothetically, Utah goes on the next 3-game run and dominates the games like they have against Colorado and Cincinnati, I think you could make the case like, okay, Utah is on the right trajectory. If BYU takes a loss to Texas Tech, has a decent game, goes to the championship game, takes another loss, I think you could also make the case like not on the right trajectory. And maybe that a leapfrog occurs. I think it would have to be extraordinary circumstances for that to occur. I think so.
Let's say, just for the sake of conversation, I mean, you look at the wins for Utah, 43-10 against UCLA, 48-14 against West Virginia, 42-10 against Arizona State, 53-7 against Colorado, 45-14 against a ranked Cincinnati team in front of the whole country. Let's just say they keep this path.
That's what I mean.
Let's say it's 48-10 against Baylor, 54-7 against Kansas State. Then
that's a compelling team. That's a compelling football team to put into the playoffs.
Well, you know who else knows that? It's Kyle Whittingham and the staff.
Yeah.
They know it. They can't just eke out wins.
Yeah, Kyle can't be nice in the fourth quarter if he's up by 20. He's got to be up by 27, 34.
And he hasn't been nice.
No.
He's seeing the writing on the wall, and he's like, we know what we got to do. And if we can suffocate him out, we got to suffocate him out.
Would you rather...
Not making friends.
Would you rather...
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Would it be better for Utah to go on a 3-game run and not play in the championship game, or play in the championship game and take a loss?
In that case, if they are on a 3-game run and they're beating teams
the way we see them beat teams,
and BYU and Texas Tech play in that championship, but both have taken regular season losses before that championship game, it would be advantageous for Utah not to be in the championship game.
Because that would be, if they lost in the championship game, that would be a 3-loss team.
And we've seen that happen to where teams so let's say BYU loses, Hans laid it out earlier in the show, BYU loses to Cincinnati, Texas Tech loses to BYU. They both play in the conference championship game. It's not a great game. Utah is on fire to end the season.
That's more compelling.
It would be you might be penalized if you're BYU or Texas Tech by making the championship game.
Yes. So Utah's ideal path is championship game, win.
Yes.
Next ideal path is no championship game, win out.
And let your product speak.
Yeah.
And win out, win big, which they can do.
Yeah.
They can do.
When we were talking about Utah-Cincinnati last week, I said, I think that's a winnable game. You said, I think that's a winnable game. How committed were you to that statement?
To which one?
Utah beating Cincinnati. When we talked about it last week,
I was
we
pretty
both
committed
said
to it.
We both said that's a winnable game. Yeah, I think Utah can win that game.
Did not think 45-14. No. But I thought, man, this could be a fingernail.
I don't know that I thought that either. I think I picked Utah by 10.
Alema said you took Cincy in that game.
I think it was by... Oh, I remember. Actually, you had...
Alema.
You had Utah 32. I remember when you walked
34 to something? 17?
32 or 34 to
20 something?
You had it as a 10-point spread.
Yeah.
And I
34-24 maybe?
And I think both Hans and I looked at you like, really?
Yeah.
You thought it was going to be closer.
You thought it would be closer. Yeah.
I did.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We'll recap that game against Cincinnati. What went right for the Utes in that blowout win? Frank will tell you next, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
It's a much-needed bye week for the Utes as they get set for the final stretch of the 25 season. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, Frank Dolce, your Ute Preview Show. Just because the Utes are on a bye doesn't mean Frank Dolce is on a bye. He's here spitting hot sports takes about the Utes as Utah coming off a blowout victory over Cincinnati.
We're blessed to have you, Frank.
Yes, we are all smarter and better people by being around you.
Are the worst. What? Because you always, whenever I say something that's even mildly complimentary about you two, then everybody. Exactly.
It's sarcasm.
That's exactly what I was about to say, is that nothing I can say is ever taken seriously by either of you.
Okay.
I think more generally it is by Scotty because he's a better person. Lloyd is included in this whole conundrum.
No, he's a dirtbag.
And then we come back and you say the craziest things that are so.
No, dude.
You almost
like you
sound
can
like
know people.
You check swing there a little.
Hey,
people can tell.
Are Scotty and I sarcastic people, though? No. You're sarcastic.
Maybe unintentionally.
No.
Yeah,
No,
you are.
We tell you exactly what's on our minds.
Like, for instance, I can tell you're benching over 315 right now, aren't you?
See, this is people know.
Your pecs are pressing against that red sweater.
Can you do that thing where you like
Can you bounce them?
Bounce them?
you bet.
Yeah.
Like this,
You
Frank.
bet.
Like this. My man's ear. You see me bouncing my man's ear?
By the way,
can't.
by the
He's
way,
on
if you want to see Hans bounce his pecs, you can go on YouTube and just search KSL Sports Zone or go to KSLSports.com.
Do you do that?
Do we need to do it shirtless? Do I need to peel this off?
Do you do
get
that?
Get some real eyes on the camera?
Only hands?
Onlyhands.com.
Can you believe that Sorsby was 11 of 33 in that game?
Yeah. Was that Sorsby or was that Utah that
Sorsby
responsible for that?
Sorsby was out of sorts in that game. Like Utah, I felt like Sorsby had, in certain circumstances, he had more time than he thought, but Utah was relentless, and he just had no comfort level. Sorsby had no comfort level.
When you're a quarterback and you're under pressure, and then all of a sudden you don't have pressure, how hard is it not to have happy feet? Because I was telling a buddy, I was watching the Broncos game, and Bo Nix had happy feet. You could tell he had time, and he was escaping the pocket way too soon. And it's like, okay, something got into his head. As a quarterback, and you played the position, you know what it's like. When you're getting rushed and you're getting blitzed and you've taken some hits, how hard is it to just be able to settle in, even when you do have pressure, and not feel that anxiety? Because it seemed like Sorsby was that way several times in that Utah game.
Yeah, I think that is one of the most difficult things to deal with because you want to. So every time you take a drop or every time you're doing anything, you have to do it with a sense of urgency. There always is this sense of urgency and timing, but you can kind of get comfortable with the timing of the game. When that is, for some reason, defensive pressure, whatever it is, and that becomes, the clock speeds up.
Yeah.
The most difficult thing that you can do is to try and slow down, have the game slow down, still make good decisions with the football. And so we always said, like, don't let one mistake turn into two mistakes. So maybe something's not happening up front. There's a mistake. You're under pressure. Now you're throwing the ball without going through your progressions, making the right reads, taking chances. Your one mistake turns into another mistake, turns into something else. So I think that's one of the hardest things to manage, is trying to slow down the game under extreme pressure. And at every level, it doesn't matter who you are. I mean, I think you could say there are guys who manage pressure well. There are guys who don't manage pressure well. But even at the highest levels, we watched Tom Brady at the height of his career in a game in a Super Bowl.
Giants
did not manage the pressure very well, and that's a guy that
greatest of all time.
Has seen it all.
Yeah,
absolutely.
One thing I really want to shake out of this team, because there was a very dominant performance. There was one point where I got a little bit nervous, and you guys will probably agree. So you go into half, you're up 24-7.
Mm-hmm.
Come out of half, Utah is forced to punt.
Yeah.
They punt. Cincinnati gets whatever it was, two or three plays. They have that pass over the top. They score.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden it's 24-14. And you're like, oh, okay, crap.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's time to extend. Well, Utah comes out to answer. And what does Dampier do? He throws a pick. It was a critical moment. It was crunch time. And he throws just kick the field goal. You go up 13 points at that point. You're feeling really good about things. But Dampier drops. He's got 10 seconds to throw, and he throws it into coverage. And Cincinnati comes up with the interception, and you're like, oh, no, here we go. It was a terrible time for a pick. Utah controlled the first half. Cincinnati scored first in the second half, gets the interception. And if it's a really good team and Utah had any weakness, Cincinnati gets back in that game and potentially wins it in the fourth quarter. Instead, Utah was able to stomp them out and did some of their own damage after that. But I want to see that go away. And, right now, Utah is 63rd in the country in turnover margin. They've forced 11. They've given up 10. They're +1. That is not typical Utah.
No.
And if you really want to go to the heart of how BYU got that win, BYU is doing a really good job of controlling possessions. Right now, BYU is in the top 10 in turnover margin.
Yeah.
BYU is number 3 in turnover margin. They've forced 16. They've given up 6. They're +10. I want Utah to get back to old good-fashioned Utah football where it's ball control. You do not turn it over.
I can't disagree with that. Do you remember what Dampier was last year? Touchdown to interception
I think
ratio?
It was like 8-8. It was even.
Yeah, it was 1-1, 12
to
12.
Yeah.
He's 1-1. Okay. Do you know what he is this year?
He's 3-1, isn't he?
15-5.
15
touchdowns.
There you go.
That's what I call for.
Five interceptions.
I wanted 3-1 on pick to touchdown.
That's significant improvement.
Yeah.
Okay. Even with that, when Dampier drops back to throw, I still feel like that is Utah's offensive liability. Because you don't know situationally when he's going to make that decision. It feels like he's been coached and he's become more thoughtful about throwing the ball downfield, especially since the beginning of the year when I think he threw 3 picks in one game that were terrible.
Yeah.
But it still feels like that's the liability of this Utah offense, is throwing the ball downfield. And I am curious about if Utah is running the ball so well, the desire to continue to throw downfield and put yourself potentially in a difficult situation. Maybe I'm just reading that differently, but did it seem like that to you guys in the game? Utah's dominating the line of scrimmage, running the ball well, and all of a sudden they're dropping back to throw the ball downfield rather than some intermediate, more controlled passing route?
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
So I wonder about that and how that will play out the rest of the year. But here's the other thing. At the line of scrimmage, it feels like Utah outmatches the next 3 opponents. And so if that's the case, if that's the truth, then the pass liability becomes small because you can run the ball. You should be able to run the ball.
Should be able to.
There is one.
Not to mention, Wayshawn Parker came on real strong. those 2 games before the bye week, I talked about Wayshawn becoming the lead dog.
Yeah, you did. You sure did.
And he just needs to take it for these next 3. You know, I'm looking at BYU undefeated and with the win over Utah. And if people really want to get to the root of how, they don't give up the ball and they take the ball away.
Yeah.
And all I would say to Utah, and it's hard because Devon is a gunslinger. He'll throw it. And it's hard because you don't want to take that mentality away from him. But you also got to stress to him, if we just go +1 in every game from here on out, the chance of us going 3-0 is 98%.
Absolutely.
It's 98% if we can just go +1.
Absolutely.
So please make every decision. Just, okay, fine. We don't need to force it down the field. Let's take the field goal.
Yeah,
you don't need to force it.
Throw it out of bounds.
It's 3rd down. Drop it off. Let's get to 3rd and 3 off the drop off.
Absolutely.
But let's not push it into coverage. The +2 that BYU took on Utah, the 1 interception and the 1 fumble. That interception is kind of
that's the difference in the game.
It's unexplainable. You know,
it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no. I agree.
And so you can't. What I don't want is us sitting here next Thursday, or I guess the Thursday following, and saying, "Oh, well, you know, darn it, Baylor just got in the right coverages and they just stood over the top, and Dampier again with a throw that's unexplainable." You just can't have it.
Utah losing the turnover margin in any of the next 3 games is going to be the most devastating. Be the most devastating thing to happen.
Agreed, because it's the only way they don't win those games.
Matt Wells used to tell his quarterbacks all the time. He told me, like, the message is touchdown, first down, get down. Those are the 3 options.
Like dance?
Yeah.
Get down?
Get down, get down.
So you throw a touchdown. Tell me again.
Celebrate the first down.
First touchdown,
get down.
first down.
Or get down.
Yep. I love that.
Texas Tech was +2. So the 2 games that Utah's lost, they're -4.
Mm-hmm. Shocker.
Big shocker. So I love the point that you made, Frank.
Are you being sarcastic?
No, I love the point that you made.
He doesn't do that.
They can't. Those 3 teams can't win the trench. They won't win the trench. So I know that I can battle it out. As long as I don't give short fields and extra possessions, I can battle these wins out. Don't take the wins away from the dudes that are fighting every down with their fists. Give it to those guys and say, we're going to win this as dirty and ugly as we can. Hey, and if we get a lead and they're shoving the box full because then let's go get some of those pretty points. We'll throw it over the top. We'll go get an extra score or 2, but we're going to hit those scores when we know we've got those throws. Not when they're ready for those throws.
Yeah. Hold that thought for a second. We got to go to break. Frank will expound on that coming up next. Hans and Scotty, Frank Dolce, Ute Preview Show right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. The Aggies return home to Logan for a battle against the Nevada Wolfpack. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, Frank, I rudely cut you off.
First down, get down.
First down, get down. First down, get down.
You didn't rudely cut me off, but I was going to ask you if you thought Utah has improved at the line of scrimmage over the course of the year, because there were high expectations out of that unit coming out of camp.
Offensive line over the last 2 weeks has performed every bit what we thought they would. After getting bullied against Texas Tech.
Bullied.
Yeah.
Bullied. That was... Do you think that was a shock to everybody looking back? That was a shock to the system, the way they got pushed around at the line of scrimmage.
That treated me like a 2-week-old sushi roll at a gas station.
Yuck.
No bueno.
Yuck.
Left you questioning a lot of things.
Yeah.
And my second half of that question is, do you think Jay Hill's going to take the Penn State job?
Why? That's what Scotty cut you off from?
That was the second half of my question.
Now I'm kind of glad I cut him off.
Oh, my gosh.
That was the second half of my question.
Utah fans are screaming at you for bringing up BYU coaches. They don't want to hear it, Frank.
You don't want to talk about it?
If you were Jay Hill, would you take the Penn State job? Knowing that they just fired one of the best coaches that they've had.
He was on a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do this for the just for the camera viewers.
Yeah.
Just use your head motion for the answer. Ask the question.
Do you think Jay Hill should take the Penn State job?
No,
or if you were Jay Hill, would you take?
Would Jay Hill take?
Would Jay Hill take the Penn State job?
Do you want him to ask the question, or do you want to ask the question?
Now, use your head and show us what your answer is on that. Yeah. You can only know the answer to that by watching the YouTube.
Yep. Go to YouTube, search KSL Sports. You get the live video stream of the show. And you can also get it at KSLSports.com.
There's a lot of money there.
A lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't you think there's a lot of opportunity there?
I can't believe it.
Yeah, but I just think that I think opportunity now sits where money is.
Mm. Who would have thought? I mean, I think you could make a case that Texas Tech is a really good job.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If they keep doling out money like that, for sure.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It used to be you got, 4 or 5 years as a head coach. Get your recruiting class through.
Yeah.
And then it became 3 years and 2 years. Now it could be a matter of 3 games and you're gone. So that's why everybody's complaining about these buyouts. Well, guess what? If I'm Jimmy Sexton and I'm the agent of all these coaches and I've got leverage, I'm like, yeah, my guy would love to be your next head coach. But here's the thing. You got an itchy trigger finger. So we're going to need a long contract and not a lot of outs.
And a big buyout.
Huge.
And a huge buyout.
But if you want to win the press conference and get this big name coach, we're more than happy to take it.
As we look at the CFP and we look at Ohio State and Indiana and Texas A&M and Alabama, of those top 4, who is actually the best team?
Ohio State. I think I would have a hard time betting against Ohio State right now.
I'm going Indiana.
They're dump trucking people.
I'm going to go with Indiana.
Really? You think Indiana versus Ohio State, Indiana wins? Or do you just want Indiana to win?
I would
want Indiana to win.
I want Indiana to win. I almost want anybody to beat Ohio State. Why did Ohio State become so hateable? I think I know why, but what do you think it is?
Urban?
No, I don't think it's Urban.
I think it's their arrogance.
I think it's the current guy who is...
Oh, Ryan Day?
Who is... Yeah, I think that's what it is. His air.
Man, I think it's everybody. I think because Tressel. Did it go Tressel?
Sweater vest?
Did it go Tressel to Urban?
Yeah. I think there was somebody in between.
No, there was someone... It feels like there was someone in between Tressel and Coach Meyer.
Maybe there wasn't.
I feel like I just feel like the way they forced the Ohio State. I remember the first time I heard the Ohio State. We were doing with the Indianapolis Colts. They make you do like these ESPN videos, and so during media day, they walk each person in front of the camera, and you say where you're from. You say you say your name, and then you walk off the camera. And the first time I heard the Ohio State was one of my teammates was from Ohio State. He walked up, he goes, so-and-so, the Ohio State. And it was like, what? The what? You're going to say the in front of it? So then I felt encouraged to walk in front of the camera and say the BYU, like Coach Mack always says. Mm-hmm. Every time I had to play the BYU. Mm-hmm. But it always bugged me. Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah. But yeah, no, they're the best out there. Just ask them. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. What does Utah need to work on in this bye week outside of just getting healthy? What can be improved upon with the current roster in place? We'll talk more about it coming up next. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It doesn't get much bigger than this. BYU and Texas Tech, your home for the best coverage of Cougar football, is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is your Ute Preview Show as we get you ready for a bye week for Utah. All right, Frank, if you're Kyle Whittingham, how are you addressing this bye week? How is this one different than maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago?
Well, 3 or 4 weeks ago, it was like we have a lot of stuff to figure out, and that was going to be a hard week. I still think it should be a hard week, but now the week is we can make some tweaks, we can make some minor adjustments, and keep this momentum rolling. I think that's what the week will be like. Not like everything we thought about ourselves may not be true.
What do you think Kyle is telling the team right now about what's in front of them, where they're ranked?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Like, how's he?
Tell them the whole story.
Is he giving them the story, or is he just focusing on Baylor? And how would Kyle handle this?
I think the way that he's handling it is that laying out what it looks like, what the path looks like ahead of them. Like, we can accomplish all of our goals. And to accomplish all our goals, we have to do this and this and this and this. And all of those things happen 1 week at a time. You have to win each week. And so it's going to be, my sense is that it's going to be, this is what we can do over, big picture. This is what we can accomplish. Here's what we have ahead of us. This is where we can find ourselves at the end of the season. But none of that matters if we don't take care of each and every week with supreme effort and focus and work. All of the words.
How do you feel?
Desire, determination.
How do you think Kyle Whittingham is feeling about Jason Beck right now? The numbers are insane. Number 5 total offense. Sorry, number 11 in total offense. You can go down. Their offensive numbers are incredible. Top 5 in rushing. Their offensive numbers are insane.
I don't know. When do you ever see Utah on top of an offensive list?
Never.
Okay.
Probably 04.
Never.
That was about it.
It was like when, right. It was like when a couple weeks ago, I think they were playing Colorado. Utah is coming off the field. Coach Whittingham gets the run off the field interview, and he says a few nice things about the offense. The question is about the defense, and he said something like, they have 3 points on the board. That should tell you what's happening on the defensive side. Like, I mean, that's pretty good.
It's usually pretty good.
That's pretty darn good. I think what Coach Whittingham is feeling about the offense is he would say the same thing as he said in that halftime interview regarding Beck. He would say, "We're leading the conference."
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, in many categories. And there's always 2 numbers that I look at offensively. What do you do on third down? And what do you do in the red zone? Mm-hmm. Their third downs are incredible.
Third down is good.
Converting on 54%.
Uh-huh.
And the red zone is incredible. Touchdowns on 81% of their red zone possessions.
That, to me, that's a ridiculous number.
It's a ridiculous number.
Ridiculous.
And you wonder why we have.
They're in the top 10 in sacks allowed.
Confidence issues around you, Frank.
Top 20 in TFL allowed. They're the number 11 in scoring offense, scoring 38.9. Did that bump up? That might have bumped up.
How do you feel about time of possession?
Scoring 39.6 points.
Where is Utah at in time of possession?
Utah is.
I got to imagine it's high.
Time of possession, Utah is number 2 in the conference, second to Arizona State.
Number 15 in the country.
At what, 33?
32.32. 32:32.
That means you're running the ball well.
Mm-hmm.
You're converting third downs. Like, that is a signal that you have a very healthy offense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's some OCs out there that are running run and shoot, that they don't care about it. Like, hey, as long as we're scoring touchdowns, it doesn't matter. But you get to a guy like Kyle Whittingham, Morgan Scalley, Bronco Mendenhall, Kalani Sitake, that stuff matters to those defensive coaches, because the longer you take to score means the more time I have with my defense over here on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at the teams in front of them. The teams in front of them are Alabama, Georgia, Air Force, Army, Indiana. These are the teams in front of them. You know, those are all powerhouse teams.
You know the service academies are always going to be there.
Right. They're going to hold the ball.
Yeah.
But, you know, you got some big teams that are just in front of them. But Utah, number 15 in the country.
You're not going to see Nevada at 1-7 be at 32 minutes of time of possession.
I just don't feel like anybody can pin it or have negative feelings towards Jason Beck in his first year. I think that this has been a raging success to this point. I know you only put up 10 against Texas Tech, and you were -2. Mm-hmm. You've had a couple of turnover issues, but I feel like when the scheme is executed, the scheme is working. And you think about all the different things he's come up with, from using Barton for blocking and a little bit of possession, to using Snowden at the beginning parts of the season, to then transitioning it to Daniel Bray and getting Ryan Davis so involved in the passing game, to then elevating Wayshawn Parker and seeing Wayshawn come along, to the staple of Devon Dampier, and then also being able to get a win when Devon Dampier was off the field, and bringing in Ficklin against Colorado and putting up 53 points. So it's like you've had to replace a quarterback for a game. You've had to change offensive personnel because you're not seeing those defensive players play the minutes that you saw them in the first 4 or 5 games.
That's right.
I think Jason was kind of told, "Hey, look, we're gonna play Smith where the NFL is going to want him. We're going to play Barton where the NFL is going to want him." Even though I still see Barton in some of the blocking schemes, but he's having to evolve with his personnel.
Yeah. No, I
give him an A.
Oh yeah,
I think he's
like
done
95%.
I think he's done an amazing job.
Well, and honestly too, how much do you put turnovers on a coordinator? Like, you know, when Dampier puts the ball on a turf on a hit from behind, I mean, you can't really.
I just can't.
Now that interception, that's a bad interception that he threw into the end zone.
Yeah. Do you think Coach Beck is saying to Dampier during the week, "Hey, look, if nothing's there, just take a shot in the end zone. Throw into coverage. I don't care.
We're going to forego the 3 points.
Yeah.
We're not worried about the field goal.
Yeah.
Just chuck it.
Hey, just take a shot.
Hey, look.
Got?
We got a 50-50 chance something good might happen.
Yes. Yeah. No, I don't think that's right. If I look at this Utah football team on the defensive side, I don't know. Do you have any concern about they fit like kind of right in the middle in terms of rush defense? And that's always been a stalwart of Utah defensively. They're number 2 in the conference in pass defense, but they're number 7 in the conference in rush defense, almost 150 yards a game.
That's lower than they've been in a long time.
Yeah. So one
thing I've noticed.
That's a nitpicky thing, I think, but I've seen some chunk plays on the defensive side in the run game, maybe losing some contain here and there. I think that seems like that's where the most of the explosive plays or damaging plays have come out of that run game. They're giving up about 4 yards per carry average. So I would say if there's somewhere to improve on the defensive side, maybe you could bump that up a little bit. Rush defense. But the other thing is their third down conversion defense is really good, second in the conference.
Yep.
I think they're like 31.5%. That's really good. So, I mean, I think it's a football team that's playing pretty well right now and has all of their goals set out right in front of them.
I also feel like, for some reason, some of the rushing stats are padded. Like, how did West Virginia rush for 261 yards? They got 14 points. They rushed for 261 yards. Were they just trying to burn the clock in the fourth quarter? And so they're just handing the ball off? I don't know.
Maybe. Well, in Cincinnati, do you know how many yards Cincinnati ran for? 221 yards.
Yeah.
That's not a great defensive effort against the run.
So if you're Kyle Whittingham, it's like that same thing you mentioned in that halftime interview. They're like, hey, Kyle, you gave up 220 yards to Cincinnati. What's going on? He's like, well, did you see the scoreboard?
Yeah, they scored 14 points.
They scored 14 points.
That's pretty good.
You see what West Virginia did? That was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
And so it's like, don't tell me about the labor, just show me the baby. And right now, the proof's in the pudding in terms of the wins, losses, and the scores that are being produced.
Do you have any more of those? I mean, you used 2 in that one.
You like that?
Yeah.
That was my old boss, our old boss, Randy Rogers. That was his.
He could.
He goes, somebody be on there. He's like telling them all about their days. Like, yeah, don't tell me about the labor. Just show me the baby.
Randy was great.
Yeah.
Shout out to Randy. We love you, bud.
And he had a couple others that I cannot say on the air. But
Arizona State had 150 yards on them.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if there's anything you could maybe focus on, but you also look at what their defense was more worried about and where they were trying to emphasize their defense. Now, moving forward, if BYU had BYU had 202 yards rushing on them. Moving forward, if it becomes an issue and Baylor, who's a passing team, goes for 185 on you, Kansas State puts up 185, 220 on you, then you start to look at it like, geez, are we just deficient in our run stop ability? But where you've got the win-loss record you've got right now.
And Cincinnati's a passing team, like 11 of 33. 11 of 33.
Busted them up.
Yeah.
If you did that to Cincinnati, should be able to do that to Baylor.
Sure. I would think so. Yeah.
I think that Davis has been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think Snowden has been fantastic. And this is a defensive backfield that had some losses too. You lose Richie, you lose a couple of guys out of that defensive backfield that started to sting a little bit.
Any surprises on the defensive side? Is Benny a surprise on the defensive side?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you just didn't know much about him.
Yeah, you just had no clue. I think he's been great.
Big time.
Both sides.
Well, I think when you talk about the story of the 2025 University of Utah football team, you can't tell it without Jack Benny. Like he has been absolutely phenomenal for the development of this team and who they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we knew the other characters that were going to have a big role on this team. I don't think we talked a lot about Jack Benny.
We didn't talk hardly at all about Jackson Benny. We talked a lot about John Henry Daly, but he didn't have any production or any proof. He just had, what we looked at as projection. So we talked a lot about John Henry Daly. One guy that's proven a lot to me is Jonah Laia, who has played really well over the last few games. So he's come along, and where you lose Dallas Vakalehi for a period of time, Jonah Laia has come in and done some good things. So that's been a nice surprise. Cash Dillon continues to get rotation, and Lance Holtzclaw continues to get rotation. And both of those guys are putting up some good production here down the stretch. So I would say there's a lot of guys that have stepped up and surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
None more than Jackson Benny.
Yeah.
He's been a beautiful exclamation mark and revelation for this Utah team.
How do you feel about Fano at this point?
Logan Fano?
Yep.
I feel pretty darn good about him. Everybody's chipping. Everybody's focusing.
Yeah.
Your tight ends aren't releasing before they put a hand on him.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's significant
And I think
attention.
John Henry Daly is a recipient
for sure
of some of that opposite attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I knew Logan Fano was going to draw a lot of attention. That's why part of my projections on John Henry Daly was, okay, well, you've got Vakalehi, you've got Viamahi, You've got these great guys that are going to force the interior. You've got a fantastic bookend that's going to, at the very least, draw attention and hold his position. Now you just got to have the Hunter Dimmick on the opposite end of, the mayor of Sac Lake City.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I look at Logan. I think he's drawing a lot of attention. Still getting his production.
What was Hunter Dimmick's best move at the line of scrimmage? I have one in
Push
mind.
pull.
Push pull.
Push pull. What did you have? Slap rip?
I had the one where
he had that really nice club rip.
Where he, with both hands, smashed the
arms down?
The arms down of the,
two-hand chop.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
The two-hand chop. Mm-hmm. I was amazed every time he did that.
Yeah. His two-hand chop, he had for who he was, he had a really good repertoire of pass rushes. But my favorite was his push pull because he'd get right into the chest and just rip chest hair off, pulling you out of your shoes and getting by an offensive tackle. He was a beautiful pass rusher. I actually, there's some comparisons between him and John Henry Daly.
I could see that, yeah.
Hey, and guess what? They've got the same defensive end coach.
That might have something to do with it, too.
I don't know how Lewis Powell isn't a D coordinator making $1.2 million. This guy has grown up in Kyle Whittingham's defensive scheme. He's done everything. He's Mr. Do-It-All for Morgan Scalley.
Well,
all he's done is raised and grown multiple top 10 pass rushers in the country.
Well, I mean, I think you're just spelling it out. Isn't he not the DC in waiting?
I know, that's the thing. We talk about Morgan being impatient waiting for Kyle to shut it down.
Yeah.
Lewis Powell's got to be like, because I think we all agree he would be the DC with Morgan, right?
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I mean,
there's a few guys on that staff.
We're all just speculating, but
I mean, you have Luther Ellis on that staff. You have Sharif Shaw on that staff.
It could be Colton Swan would be the one.
Colton Swan on that staff.
But my go-to is Lewis Powell.
Yeah.
My number one is Lewis Powell because I go and talk to Sharif. I'm like, okay, interview for it. How bad do you want it? Because you're going to become a spotlight. Or do you just want to do your corner thing, or where do you want to be? Because Sharif, with his motivational speaking and his energy, I'd love him if he'd take it. I just think that Sharif likes being
I do too.
Kind of back behind the scenes a bit.
Let's put Coach Whittingham and Sharif Shaw in the cage. Who comes out?
Currently, not in their primes.
Currently, they're both well over 50. I mean, so currently,
I'm gonna go Reef.
Sharif Shaw in his playing days. I'm not exaggerating this. There was nobody who, pound for pound, could lift more weight in a squat or a press or a bench or a clean. Like, it was unbelievable, extraordinary, the amount of weight he could move around. And he still looks like he could do that.
I think it would go rounds and rounds, because neither would die, neither would quit.
You think it would be
and I think eventually Kyle will gas out because of his age, and Reef will have just a little bit more juice.
But Sharif will come out missing an ear and a finger.
Yeah.
It's a death match. Like someone's.
But I love Reef. But if I'm Morgan, my first interview, my leader in the clubhouse is Lewis Powell.
Yeah.
The guy has produced more defensive talent than, I mean, you got draft picks all over the defense, but I just feel like Lewis Powell's been.
How would you rank? Okay.
And he's extremely loyal.
Where would your betting line be? Like, who would you rank in terms of on staff? Like, Utah doesn't have to go out.
Lewis Powell would be 2-1.
Okay, so you don't have to go out anywhere.
I would put Colton Swan next on the list at 5-1, and then probably Sharif Shaw 8-1.
Yeah, I would say that's 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
and then we'd go Ellis number 4.
Yeah, I just don't know how much Ellis in terms of play calling in a game. I don't know what the experience would be there.
But I I think you're right. I think Lewis is probably waiting just as anxiously as Morgan. But, those guys have had the tremendous luxury.
Oh, man. I know where you're going.
Of Kyle Whittingham's protection.
Yeah, Morgan hasn't had to go anywhere. It's insane.
Insane.
Those guys have made a nice living.
What are you doing to me?
Insane.
I'm not going to talk anymore.
In the membrane. Insane in the
I don't know what I did.
It's just, you know what?
I don't know what I did.
I tried to be. I have not taken one shot at you today.
Wait,
not one.
I
felt like it's been a pleasant exchange between the two of you.
I don't know what I did. Please tell me what I did.
Yeah. You looked right at him and
you
mocked.
Insane. Ridiculous.
Insane.
Wait, that wasn't
Absolutely
mocking. That was
insane.
that wasn't mocking.
Yeah,
Listen.
No, it's mocking.
Maybe we could talk about your insecurities off camera.
Okay. Hey, speaking about camera, dude, we've got a lot of bald going on here. If we're going to do this on camera from now on, we'll dim the lights, and I'm going to wear a hat. In fact, I'm going to go dim the lights.
There you go. Oh, see.
Look what you did, Frank.
Yeah.
All insecure.
What did I
okay,
do?
Not that dark. No,
Well,
can't see anything.
I didn't.
I think that's better for everybody.
I
it's
have
not.
no
Better.
idea
Turn it
what
up.
is happening here.
No, let's see what this looks like here.
Yeah, because I think
It's
that's
dark.
Yeah, that's going to be helpful from here on out.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
This is helping the camera.
Helping all of us.
Frank's looking more like that AI picture.
I watched our YouTube viewers go from 75 to 4. And I'm like, what's the problem here?
All right, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, 2:30. Coming up, we'll continue to wrap our arms around the Utes, get ready for what should be a fun one. Utah, as they come out of the bye week with 3 games to go to try to get themselves into a Big 12 championship game. It's right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
It's a much-needed bye week for the Utes as they get set for the final stretch of the 25 season. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Your Ute Preview Show. Utes are on a bye. That's all right. They'll be back at it coming up in a week. This is an interesting time for Kyle Whittingham and his Utes because, yeah, they've lost to Texas Tech. Yes, they've lost to BYU, but still very much in the thick of things when it comes to the Big 12 and the college football playoff. Number one, you need to run the table. Number two, you got a little help along the way, but the Big 12 championship game still very much in play. But all of that goes away, Frank, with one loss. It all gets thrown down the tubes, flushed away, if you will.
That's a thin margin of error.
Yeah, so you got to go 3-0. Do you talk about going 3-0, or do you just take it one game at a time?
No, it's week to week. It doesn't, because if you don't get week 1 done, then nothing else matters. It's a week to week. And that's when Coach Whittingham is the best. Like, circle the wagons. It's week to week. You have to win the week. And that's, I think, the message. If you don't win the week, then nothing else matters.
Yeah.
And then you have to come up for your next motivational thing. But yeah, you have to win every week. And fortunately for Utah, this is a schedule that is winnable. If they can stay on track, if they continue to do the things that they've done. I still think that passing game liability is something to think about. So can you improve in that area over the next 3 weeks? Rush defense liability. I don't even know if I would call it a liability. Just rush defense accountability maybe over the next 3 weeks. Something to think about. Here's another interesting thing to think about. Utah has dominated teams in quarters 1 through 3.
Yeah.
Score. In fourth quarter, they win the fourth quarter, but it's just like a 10-point differential over the course of the whole season. And so finishing in the fourth quarter. In the games they've won, it's been no question.
Maybe and that's inflated the numbers a little bit because they're so far ahead to give up a couple of gimme points there in the fourth quarter.
It could be. But But that's where they've also lost. And the two losses have come.
That's
Utah
true.
was down by 3
in
the fourth quarter against Texas Tech and lost big. So fourth quarter productivity, defensive productivity, I think has to be something to think about.
This is a defense that certainly is got some star power, but unlike BYU, they're relatively healthy. And having, I think you want to keep rolling in terms of the momentum that you've built over these last 2 games, but you also look at the fact that you get Devon Dampier a little bit more healthy. You get those guys a little bit more healthy because, Hans, as you pointed out, Utah, when Devon Dampier is healthy, looks pretty damn good.
Well, they've expressed that in the 2 losses, Texas Tech and BYU, that he was injured throughout Texas Tech and then re-injured it in the second quarter against BYU. And it just slowed him up. When he's healthy, you see a different level of performance because he has to, and I talked about this going into the Cincinnati game, if he's not healthy enough to run the full playbook, then you can't play him. If he's healthy enough to run the full playbook, then you put him in against Cincinnati and, you beat Cincinnati 45-14 and your numbers look like this. Dampier, 220 yards passing, 2 touchdowns through the air. Devon Dampier, 14 carries for 80 yards. That's your numbers when Dampier's healthy.
Yeah. Do you think the threat of, maybe there wasn't, maybe it was manufactured on the outside, but do you think the threat of Ficklin starting against Cincinnati was meaningful to Dampier in his preparation during the week?
I mean, you would probably speak better to this than I would, but I would think absolutely yes.
I would think so too.
Yeah, like if you go like, hey, that guy played pretty well. And
pretty good.
You know what, are you sure you're healthy? Yes, I am healthy.
Oh.
I'm ready to go.
I'm healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing up downs, jumping jacks, all of it. Look at how healthy I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at me. The nice thing I think Coach Beck has done is continue to get Ficklin reps during these games. You just never know. And especially with a guy like Dampier who's going to put his body at risk, then you need a guy like Ficklin to be ready to go. And there's a good chance in one of these last 3 that Ficklin's going to see some meaningful minutes.
That was the other point I was going to make about Jason Beck having Ficklin ready when Ficklin needed to go. I think we could safely say that over the past 2 seasons, not having a second-string quarterback ready was detrimental to that coordinator's progress and standing. Got to have a second guy ready. Because very rarely does the first guy make it through all 12. Got to have the second guy ready. When Ficklin stepped in against Colorado, he looked ready. He burnt the crap out of Colorado. That's why going into Cincinnati was like, if you can't get all the playbook out of Dampier, then go with Ficklin.
And it would have been very easy because Jason Beck and Devon Dampier, they were a package deal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his guy. So I could very easily see him putting all the eggs in that basket, all the reps, all the attention towards him, and neglecting some of your other quarterback room. But to have Ficklin involved and ready to go and right up to speed where you didn't really drop much production at all with Byrd Ficklin, that shows you a lot. Yeah,
it's money, and it does give you hope that if there's problems, Ficklin's always there. That's a really nice insurance policy to have.
I'm curious to see how Ficklin continues to develop because I think he's a more classic thrower of the football, and to see how that translates into reps.
You think Ficklin is a more classic thrower with his left hand?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Did you hear that?
Dude, you're the quarterback.
I mean, I think he has a slow release, but the way that he throws the ball feels better when he's throwing it downfield.
His throwing motion feels like Tyler Huntley to me. Would I be way off on that?
No, but I think
because Tyler had such athleticism. He just had a zip off the finger, off the run.
Yeah. I think that Ficklin is still young in developing his throwing motion. Like, to me, it's a little slow. His throwing motion is a little slow, and that will develop. That should develop.
So there's this talk in the basketball world where you get to a certain age and your shot is your shot. Like you can't fix the mechanics.
Yeah.
Is there a point for quarterbacks in that regard?
Yeah,
where
I mean, yeah, for sure. That's developed. Like at this point, to say it's not like Tiger Woods says, "Hey, I'm going to take the offseason and change my swing."
Yeah.
You can tweak it for sure. You can tweak it, but your throwing motion is your throwing motion. Look at Travis Wilson. Yikes! Like that throwing motion. What was that? Anyway, Ficklin he can develop. He can improve on some of the mechanics, but on some of the other stuff like speed of release.
Okay.
You could develop that. But then there's just different guys like Dan Marino. No one's going to compete on the speed of his release. Like that was just a thing that he could do.
By the way, my kid was watching some old games on YouTube.
What kind of old games? Football?
He saw football, and he saw this guy named Bernie Kosar. He's like, this guy was a quarterback?
You mean the Kent DeColvey of football?
I forgot how bad that throwing motion was. Oh, my gosh.
It was almost underhand.
Yeah.
But here's what Bernie Kosar. This is Bernie Kosar. This is probably some Dan Marino. This is Peyton Manning. Probably some Tom Brady. Who are the other greats that you could put in that? I don't know that I would put Aaron Rodgers. Maybe I would put Aaron Rodgers in. Like, mentally, they were better than head and shoulders better than everybody else. Joe Montana, I would put in that category. Peyton Manning won 2 Super Bowls without ever throwing a spiral.
Yeah, there's some wobbles out there.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
He had the worst release. It was just terrible. Do you remember Brian Griese?
Oh, yeah.
Brian Griese, if you could have put, like, Brian Griese, his throwing motion, his mechanics, the way the ball came off of his hand, he never threw a wobbly pass.
No.
Like, it was amazing watching him throw the ball. It was like, there's no way this guy can't be successful. But he didn't have what or Peyton Manning had above the shoulders.
You know, Jeff George threw a beautiful football.
He did.
But there was nothing upstairs.
He did.
Will was spinning, but the hamster was dead.
I would almost put Terry Bradshaw in that. Terry Bradshaw threw an amazing pass, and he had his that finger cocked all the way back. Yep. I don't know how he did that, but he threw an amazing pass. I would almost put him in the category like he didn't have a bunch upstairs. I think he was better than we think upstairs because, I just think he was better than we think. He just didn't come across that way. But I would almost put him in that category. He was surrounded by talent.
Yeah, a lot of gold jackets on those teams. Wow. All right, Hans and Scotty will wrap up this bad boy next. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. The Aggies return home to Logan for a battle against the Nevada Wolfpack. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, Frank. Utah on the bye week.
Yeah. Yes.
This is usually where we give our predictions. I'd say Utah probably picks up a win this week against the bye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There we go.
They're going to scrimmage on Saturday. Red and white revisited. Something like that.
When you were a player, it was bye week. Did you try to just eliminate all football from your mind for a day?
No.
You were
dialed in, locked in.
I like it. I don't believe
improving.
You, but that's all right.
Always improving. You know what? If I would have had the mindset at 18, 19, 20 that I thought was pretty good that I had today about, preparation, golly, what could you have accomplished?
Youth is wasted on the young.
Oh, isn't it so true?
Yeah.
Who said that? Yogi Bear?
I can't remember. All right, that wraps it up for us. JJ and Alex coming up next. Hands, we'll talk tomorrow. Alema Harrington, Ron McBride, a Football Friday.
Hey, are you guys good? Do you need some help?
I keep looking at my phone and hoping I don't see an alert from Delta popping up here. That's for sure.
You're flying out tonight?
I'm flying out tonight. In fact, just here in about an hour and a half.
Over under on the government shutdown ending. Jeez. Like what are we doing?
I'm going to go.
Got some thoughts on that.
Go under.
Yeah.
Should we extend this?
What are we doing? Yeah.
Should we do a podcast?
Yes. We'll do a government shutdown podcast.
Hands, Scotty, and Frank on politics. Coming up next.
I'm sure people would tune in.
Hands and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.